New York Times best-selling author Mary Higgins Clark has sold more than 100 million books. Her latest project, The Lost Years, explores religious antiquities that become the center of a murder investigation. The Queen of Suspense, Mary Higgins Clark, is joining us right now from New York City. Good morning, Mary. So happy to have you.
Good morning, Nikki, and I'm delighted to be with you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I want to mention to our viewers that you have written 35 books and co-authored 5 others with your daughter, Carol Higgins Clark, which is so fabulous. How do the two of you keep the material fresh?
Well, we decide on, people say, tell us about the big fight that you had. And we say, there was no big fight. There was no fight at all. We are two parents, in this sense, wanting to produce a perfect baby, or as perfect as you can make it. So we get the overall, what are we going to write about? What's the subject? And we always have 4 main characters.
Right.
Carol's Reagan Riley, her series character, and her husband Jack, and my Elvira, the cleaning woman who won $40 million in the lottery and is now solving crimes, and her husband Willie, who a retired plumber who does whatever Elvira wants him to do.
Who doesn't want a man like that, right? We all want one of those.
Oh, in the best sense of the word. He's very protective of her.
Yes, yes. Well, I have to ask you, how did you develop the plot for The Lost Years particularly?
Well, my editor, Michael Corder, 37 years, I should know what he is, right? He was the one who came up with the idea. Every year after a book is finished and turned in, we have a celebratory lunch, and either I say, Michael, I have the best idea, or, as in this case, he said, Mary, I have the great idea. I think you should have a biblical reference in this book, and it should be a letter written by Christ. And my reaction was, you're crazy. But then I thought, why not? Right. Christ taught in the temple when he was 12. He was very well educated. The Jewish boys at that time went to temple to study 3 times a day. But who would he have written it to? And I thought, I know who it is, Joseph of Arimathea, because in the Palm Sunday Gospel, it even was referred to again. Joseph of Arimathea, a secret disciple of Christ, had the courage to go to Pilate and request the body to place in his own tomb. Wow. And I thought, Christ might very well, anticipating and knowing this, have written a simple note on a parchment to Joseph, thanking him for his kindness. And so that is the parchment, and it had been in the Vatican Library for 1,400 years.
Right.
And the Pope decides to destroy it because there's too much controversy.
My goodness.
So a cardinal sneaks it out of the Vatican and places it in a monastery, and it was not seen again for 600 years until this story begins.
Wow.
And that's the way we get into it.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously you were a little resistant initially then to writing about the religious relics, and then obviously just talking to him and really dealing with the story, I guess, really changed your mind and made you want to share the story.
Yes, because I thought, and I certainly was very careful, I'm a practicing Catholic, and there was no way I was going to write something that would be in any way,
offensive,
could be criticized.
Sure, sure.
But I checked with my Jesuit friends, and I checked with my bishop friend, and they said there is no reason that he might not have written a letter.
Right,
he certainly could write, and who better to write it to than the one who had been his good friend.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then when the parchment is located by a biblical scholar, the biblical scholar is found murdered. And it is believed his Alzheimer's wife killed him.
Well,
and his daughter insists there has to be another reason.
I wanted to ask you a question about that, because I'm curious what led you to create a character with Alzheimer's.
Well, because my dearest friend, we worked together. We were Pan American flight hostesses together. She married a very elegant Englishman, and for years I would manage to squeeze out a week or 10 days and visit them in their beautiful home overlooking the English Channel. And then one time I could tell Joni was getting forgetful, and I watched her disintegrate from a fun, gentle, but spirited person who never used the word damn into an angry, suspicious, cursing human being, and then go back until at the end she was so gentle that when I took her to a restaurant she said, so much noise, so much noise.
Aww.
And I use that in the book. I have the Alzheimer's wife saying, so much noise,
so it's your
so
tribute.
much blood.
It's your tribute to her in a way. It's wonderful that you did that.
It was a tribute because it helps people, may help people know about Alzheimer's.
For sure.
But to realize that the real person has been robbed of her sensibilities. And it's very sad, and certainly it's very tough on people who have someone living at home, because it's an unpredictable life to have someone at home and take care of them.
No kidding. Well, I appreciate that you have included that in your book. I know so many other people will, and of course telling the story in itself is going to be so intriguing for so many of us, as all of your books always are. I'm so happy and privileged to talk to you, and we're so looking forward to reading the new book, Mary. Thank you so much.
Oh, a pleasure, Nikki. Thank you so much.
And please join us here live on our set next time you're in Albuquerque. We'd love to have you.
I told you the door will be knocked on.
I love it. Thank you so much, and continued success, and wonderful congratulations on all the success you've had thus far. Thank you.
You bet.
And we'll
Thank
be
you.
right back.